And
First of all, I want to ask you
please.
because first time I have seen the world passport is available in USA. Who authorized this, or you have yourself do this job?
Sure. World Service Authority was founded in 1954 by a man named Gary Davis, who had actually given up his U.S. citizenship back in 1948, declared himself a world citizen, traveled around the world for about 6 or 7 years with no documents. And because he had no documents, as you're well aware, governments don't like people to be stateless, which he was. They want to document people, and they want people to have documents so that they can control you within their system.
Who approved this document?
Well, right, that's what I'm getting to. So he found that it was very difficult to travel, and he kept getting arrested and oftentimes detained. In fact, he was detained 34 times in his life, actually. Usually it was because he had no document before the World Passport was created. So he created the World Passport.
He created
it, this man named Gary Davis with 2 R's, and he decided, okay, not only do I need an authority to create this document, I need governmental authority. Just like any government issues a passport, where does it get its authority? That's what you're asking. It gets authority from the people. So between 1948 and 1950-51, almost 1 million people registered legally, you might say, or at least symbolically, as world citizens. And he took that mandate and said, okay, if there's this many people who already actually affirmed their world citizenship status, we need a government that represents the people, that is, we the people of the world, of, by, and for the people of the world. So in 1953, with the help of a guy named Nataraja Guru. So he actually studied it at the feet of a South Indian guru for several years before this all came into pass. With his help and guidance, he said, okay, we're going to found a world citizen government. So on September 4th of 1953, so we're on our 63rd anniversary now, he created, or 64th, I guess, he created the world citizen government. Okay, it was founded on the steps of the Ellsworth City Hall in Ellsworth, Maine, actually, and we have a document called the Ellsworth Declaration, which confirms that. And then, so that was in September of 53. Then in January 1954, he created the World Service Authority actually in New York. And then that World Service Authority office went wherever he was in the world, and then we actually created, I don't know, 11 or 12 different, you might call them world districts. So there were districts, people in different parts of the world, like in China or elsewhere, who had sub-offices of World Service Authority, especially in the 1970s when our main office, which was legally incorporated in Switzerland as an association, moved to Washington, D.C. So in 1976, our headquarters came here. We legally incorporated as a nonprofit organization, meaning that the work of the World Service Authority is allowed. We're legally allowed to do what we do, which is to provide documents. And so the authority comes from, one, the fact that we are legally incorporated as a nonprofit here in Washington, D.C., so that's one authority. The other authority is the various laws that allow for us to affirm our rights to documentation or our right to travel, like the UN Charter, Articles 55 and 56, the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, Article 16, and Article 12, which is the right to identify oneself as a person before the law and the right to freedom of travel, and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which everyone who gets a World Service Authority document gets a copy of the Declaration, and Articles 6 and 13 affirm the right to identify yourself as a person before the law and the right to freedom of travel. So where does the authority come from? And a short answer to this question, it comes from us, the people. It comes from us, the people, and our innate and unalienable rights.
How the visa can be given by the countries?
So, to get a visa, just like with any passport, if you're going with your Indian passport, certain countries require a visa prior to travel. In fact, even for Americans going to India, you have to get a visa in your U.S. passport by going to Tray Visa, which is the visa service that India uses for their, you can't go to their consulate anymore. It's usually a private company. So you go to the private company, you submit your passport just like you would your Indian passport, you fill out the application form, you pay the fee, whatever the fee is, $75, $150, whatever the fee is to get the kind of visa that you're applying for, tourist visa, business visa, student visa. So you submit it with your world passport in this particular circumstance, and then you wait. Either some consulates or some visa services, you submit it in the morning, say between 8:30 and 11 a.m., then you come back in the afternoon and they'll have stamped it and give you back your passport. Not always. Some consulates require about a week. It really depends on the consulate. But the same process that you would do with your national passport, you do with your world passport.
Is there any people complaining that they are not getting visa.
Oh yeah, of course. This is true not only with the world passport, it's also true with the national passport where people want to
world
go.
passport.
I know, I'm just giving you an example that just like any passport, it can be accepted or rejected by a government official. So the world passport is best recognized in Africa, Asia,